If you're afraid of being alone, then you are lonely. I used to think that being alone was kind of strange or kind of weird or taboo, but as I grew older, I found being alone and being in solitude can actually bring you the greatest peace that you'd ever want in your life. And it's not to say that being alone means that you get rid of everybody, but it just means that you know how to keep your peace and keep your sanity. I've always had some pretty decent friend groups growing up, through high school and in my college years. I've made friends with many individuals, but I've come to a point where I've learned to just enjoy being alone. I realized that whenever I was always in these friend groups, it was hard for me to kind of find out who I really was as a person and find out my identity. Typically, when you're surrounded by a lot of people, your personality kind of mixes in with everyone else. But when you're alone, you kind of have to find out your personality for yourself. It begs the question of, who am I if I don't have anyone else around me? I think nowadays a lot of people kind of don't really know who they are, and they have to identify with a social group or a tribe of people in order to be somebody, in order to truly feel like they're important, And it's really not the case, because oftentimes if you don't find the right people to develop a strong bond with, then it can lead your life down in the wrong directions if you're not very careful. Fortunately for me, I've never experienced a situation where I've been in a friend group that has led me to terrible choices, but I've seen many of my friends have joined different social circles, and it's led them down a very dark and devastating path for the rest of their life. And I feel a lot of pity, and I feel a lot of sadness that they've kind of had to, because of the people who they've hung out with. It's just something that I see with many other people and other social groups. But it really takes time to find the right group of people to assimilate into your life, because there are people out there who can elevate your life and can bring even more positivity and more great things, more experiences and growth. A lot of the friend groups that I have seen, for the most part, some people don't have good intentions. And there's a saying out there that says, it's better to be alone than in bad company. And I highly believe that's true, because a lot of times there's people who do bring bad company, and it's things like envy and jealousy, hatred sometimes, which is unfortunate, because sometimes you don't want to see your closest friends or people who you associate with do that to you. But in many friend groups that I've seen, people do that to each other, and it's pretty sad. So I think there is a lot of benefit and power to being by yourself. You kind of stay away from the drama of big friend groups and just a lot of superficiality, if there is any. Thankfully, some of my friend groups throughout my life haven't really been like that, but there have been a few instances of cases like that. I've just learned to sort of disassociate myself and just kind of go away from society a little bit and go about my day-to-day, relishing in solitude. And so far, it's been pretty nice to just be outside on your own on some days and admire the beauty of the world around you and just be grateful for every single moment. I think it's pretty awesome to have this kind of feeling where you're at absolute peace with yourself. Growing up throughout my life, I've kind of had to learn how to be by myself since, I'm an only child. And it's a little bit tough when you don't have any siblings to lean on. And people like your parents, you can't really associate with them because they're not really the same age as you compared to somebody who is a sister or a brother. So you kind of have to be like your own best friend. I kind of had to navigate through my life, find out what I was really made of, because life taught me a lot of lessons. People you meet along the way in your journey don't always have the greatest intentions, but there are the very few people that do. And the few people that do, you want to hold on to them tight. And today I'm really thankful for the people that I do have in my life currently. It's always good to have a small, tight-knit group of friends that you can rely on, that you can count on. And you want to surround yourself with people who elevate your growth and want to see you succeed in life. And those are the people that should inspire you and give you the greatest motivation that you need. But yeah, aside from that, I think you shouldn't fear being by yourself. It can really be your greatest superpower if you know how to use it. But if you do feel loneliness in your life, and it means that you're not comfortable yet with being alone. If you feel afraid or scared that you kind of have to fend for yourself and no one is here to save you, that means you kind of have to spend more time to be out and about alone. And it's okay, you know, it's going to be scary at first. It was definitely kind of nerve-wracking to disassociate myself from people, but eventually it gets more comfortable over time. You almost kind of want to be alone most days, just away from people's problems and the baggage that people carry with them. It's almost as if like there's just silence around you all the time. And I'm not saying that it's healthy to be alone all the time. You know, of course, you want to find people who you connect with on an emotional and mature level. But if you have to need and depend on these people, then you're not comfortable yet being in solitude. It's just something you have to practice like any other skill. But once you learn how to be comfortable being by yourself, I think life just gets so much better. So that's what I believe about solitude. You know, there's nothing really to be afraid of. Learn how to embrace it. And if you are someone who is going through a lonely stage in your life, just know that it will pass soon. It will make you a much stronger and resilient person for doing this. That's all I got to say for this topic. If you guys found it insightful, please leave a comment down below. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.